Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tommy and you are watching Tom's Tutorial Tuesday. Welcome to our video on how to create a nice elevated pathway next to your enclosure. This is something that I did for my Germany park that I did present a little while ago, I know, but now I submitted it for the Battle of the Builders competition by Evolution Square, and I got reminded of this enclosure and how much I loved doing it, how much I loved it, and I was like, I can't believe that I never made a video on this, that I never recreated this in a tutorial. So here it is, a smashing blast from the past, I would say, and I said to myself that I would do a square as well. So this is also it's kind of a mix between an enclosure and a square. No, that's not how you're supposed to say. I like this white path, the worker path. I think it's the best path in Jurassic World Evolution 2 or Jurassic World Evolution, and it's such a shame that it's so freaking narrow when you want to do something, you know, like a white square. In this game, it takes time. I didn't know what to do with this space over here, but I was like, let's pretend that the park continues with something over there because I didn't want to put more buildings there. Here you can see me pulling up some of the path because this is an elevated path where you can see the dinosaurs from. And doing this bit is a little tricky because you want to have a steep slope right next to the path, which sometimes can mess up, as you can see over here, sometimes can mess up your design. So it's a constant play of going back and forth with the smooth brush and also the flattening brush. And I put a viewing gallery at the end so that people actually go there, because people in this game are dumb. They don't know that the dinosaurs are there unless there's a viewing gallery, which is kind of weird. But they are sometimes pointing, you know, like at fences, like behind fences. As you can see here, I was trying to do some repairs and I screwed the whole thing up because the brushes in this game are so damn big. But you can always smooth it out. This is not actually that difficult. I would say that creating this enclosure is like medium difficulty. It's not really as crazy as the temple that I did for my last Atlantis build, but it takes time. It takes a little bit more time. I initially thought that this would be a quick tutorial, but it turned out to be a regular tutorial, I guess, but I still managed to do it in 10 minutes. Well, the build took like an hour and 14 minutes, hour and something. It was like, I'm counting also the square, I'm counting the dinosaurs being brought in. And what you can see me doing now is this rock barrier. This enclosure is not going to have any fences. I like to do things natural in this game. It takes a little more time than, you know, like just putting a fence there, but fence in this kind of a setting, in this kind of environment, would not really look great. I think the rocks give it the natural feeling. And we'll also be using planters to pave the sidewalk with something, you know, like something nice to line it down so that, you know, like we bring some realism to it, because the guests should have some sort of barrier up there not to climb down and try to pet the dinosaurs. Even though the square is quite close to the enclosure and some of the rocks are not that big, so if they really wanted to, they could, but I guess there are supervisors in the park, right? I guess. When it comes to creating these rock barriers, you want to make sure you put them close next to each other, but you also want to make sure that they are not uniform. So you try to use all kinds of rocks, like all kinds of sizes of rocks, like the biggest ones, then the middle ones, then the tiny ones, and you try to mix it and blend it all together so that it creates the feeling that they are not really a barrier, that they are just like a rock formation that's over there. We know that it's a rock barrier, but you want it to look natural. You want to scatter the rocks around the place. Here you can see me adding some green greenery over here, and I kept forgetting about this enclosure over here too, because if you are doing a walkway this way, it has two sides, right? So you want to use two sides for your enclosure. And I'm putting some rocks in the enclosures as well, decorating the enclosure itself, so that it looks natural. And this way the rocks really look like they are natural around the enclosure as well. This is me decorating the guest section. I put some rocks in the circle and then some trees. I tried to put in trees with a tree brush, but no trees were given. This game doesn't give a tree. And I didn't put any rocks here because I realized that the circle was quite small, but I like to do these circles in the middle of these squares, and you have seen me do this at the beginning of the video. It's basically just you do a circle in the middle of there and then you align the paths around it, and it looks nice. It looks nice that it's not just the road there, it's not just the concrete, but it gets this, you know, like nature relief. It's disrupted by disrupted by nature. Oh my god, it's like we are disrupting the nature with these concrete things. I'm turning into an activist here. Yes, I like green stuff, and I I didn't mean that. Okay, back to the topic. Back to the topic of the video. I like nature. That's what I wanted to say. And you can see me putting the planters over here as the barrier that I was already mentioning a few minutes ago, because you want to create some realism and you don't want the guests to fall down into the enclosure, so you put in these planters, even though you wouldn't really have to because the people don't walk elsewhere. But yeah, and again, I forgot about the enclosure for the Pachyrhinos in the back. So I kept going back to it and I kept decorating it after everything else was done, but I didn't forget about it completely, so it's fine. And I forgot to use the shrub brush, so now you can see me, you know, like shrubbing it around everywhere, around the whole enclosure. And I think that will be it in a bit. We'll be adding some trees, but the tree brush in this environment is very nice and very, you know, it gives you enough trees, so you don't really need to put down so many placeables. And of course we're putting in some shrubs, like individually placeable shrubs as well. And I think that, yeah, and doing something with the elevation just a little bit, because this is supposed to be like a meadow kind of thing. And here we are. This is the finished product. This is the finished square with the enclosure right next to it with the rock barrier. You can see that we have, you will see that in a second, we have a Nasutoceratops here. We have 5 Nasutoceratops here. And I think that they fit this enclosure quite nicely, because when you realize how huge these rocks are, it is to be believed that they really cannot cross that rock wall, that rock barrier. And we also have Pachycephalosaurus in this enclosure. I don't know if you can see them, but they are there. Now you can see them, actually. I didn't do a close-up. I did mixed skins and mixed patterns, so nothing really for you to take from these packies. I get mixed up in my own words. And this is how it looks from the other side. The people are not walking here because I realized that I blocked their way, because this was a tutorial from before. I used the same map, and I put in the viewing gallery there, and in a second you will see what I did there. This is animal cruelty, what I did there. This is the Nasutos from up above. And I put 2 T-Rexes in here so that the people actually come here, but you can see no people on the road, because I screw up. There were some barriers along the way, so I just like put those T-Rexes there for no apparent reason, I guess, but I hope you can forgive me. I hope you won't call PETA on me. Okay, so my name is Tommy. Thank you for watching this enclosure. If you liked this tutorial, if you liked my video, please like, comment, and share. And if you think that you will like my content, please consider subscribing because there is much more coming up. Thank you again and have a great day. Bye-bye.